After many years, a new Pharaoh ruled. He did not remember what Joseph had done for Egypt. The people of God became slaves. They were trapped and could not go home. There were so many of the people of God in Egypt that the Pharaoh was afraid that they would take his kingdom away from him. So he said that all the baby boys had to be killed. One of the mothers made a basket woven together and hid the baby in the basket. She put the basket in the reeds by the Nile. The daughter of Pharaoh found the basket. She named the baby Moses and raised him in the palace. When Moses was a young man, he saw an Egyptian beating one of the people of God. Moses grew angry and killed him. Then he ran away into the desert. Moses stayed with the family of Jethro. He married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters, and became a shepherd. He lived there for 40 years. One day, while Moses was taking care of Jethro's sheep, he took them to the mountain of God, Mount Horeb, which is also called Sinai. Suddenly, he saw a bush that was burning, but it did not burn up. God spoke to Moses from the burning bush. God told Moses that the cries of the people of God in Egypt had been heard. Moses was to go and set the people free. Moses said, "But who am I to do such a thing?" God said, "I will be with you." Moses said, "What is your name?" God said, "My name is Yahweh. I am who I am." "Well, can't you send someone else?" asked Moses. "Aaron, your brother, will go with you. He will speak for you," said God. So Moses went back to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. Moses went many times to the Pharaoh to tell him to let God's people go, and many times the Pharaoh said no. Terrible things happened in the land of Egypt. Finally, the Pharaoh said yes. Then God helped Moses lead the people through the water and into freedom. Moses led the people through the desert for 40 years. The people of God grew tired and hungry and discouraged, and they grumbled to Moses. But God showed the people that God was with them by giving them quail and manna to eat in the desert. When the people were thirsty from traveling in the desert, they complained to Moses, and Moses talked with God. God told Moses to strike a rock with his staff. Water came out of the rock so the people could drink. And then something happened that made God angry. Moses did not keep faith with God in the midst of the people. So God told Moses that he would see, but he would never enter the promised land. The people were free, but they didn't know the best way to go. With God's help, Moses led the people to God's mountain, Mount Sinai, where God had spoken to him from the burning bush. And Moses went up the mountain, on to the top of the mountain to talk with God. The people waited and waited and waited. Moses was gone a long time. The people began to think that Moses was never coming back. So they asked Aaron to make them a new god to lead them. Aaron took all the gold, the women were wearing and melted it. Then he shaped the melted gold into a calf. He gave the calf to the people, saying, "Here is your God." And the people built an altar and worshipped the golden calf. Finally, Moses came down from the mountain. His face was shining. He carried the 10 best ways, but found the people worshiping the golden calf. He grew angry and broke the stone tablets on which the 10 best ways were written. He took the golden calf and threw it into the fire. The people were sorry. So God gave Moses the 10 best ways again, and Moses gave them to the people. Then God told Moses to have the people make a box called an ark to hold the 10 best ways. The box was covered with gold, and it had poles on the sides so the people could always carry it with them wherever they went. God told Moses how to make a tent called a tabernacle for the ark. When the people stopped to rest in the wilderness, God's glory filled the tent, and Moses came close to God there. When he came out, his face was shining. After 40 years, they came to another mountain, Mount Nebo. Moses looked over into the promised land from the mountaintop, and God said, "I will give this land to the people of God, but you will not cross over." Moses died there, and no one knows to this day where he was buried. Now, I wonder, which part of the story did you like best? I wonder which part of the story was the most important. I wonder what part was about you, or what part were you in? I wonder if we could leave any part of the story out and still have all that we need to tell the story of Moses.